fellas good for Bermuda.
The Mountain Bike World Cup.
With the Volvo V70 cross-country all-wheel drive.
Welcome to Eurosport with me, Mark Bicycle, for the 5th round of the Tissot-UCI Cross-Country World Cup. We're in Sarantino in Italy, in the northern Tyrol, right very close to the Austrian border, the 5th round of the World Cup. And what a beautiful venue here in Italy. German, Italian influences in the region. The population here, mainly farmers and artisans, with a lot of tradition and custom, and they do like their bike racing here as well. We go straight into the women's race. First of all, the lead riders, barring Mary Grigson, she's not here on the start line. Alison Dunlap, the leader of the World Cup at the moment. Laurence Leboucher, the 1998 world champion, is on that front line as well, along with a couple of other French riders as well, Sophie Villeneuve. And of course, the irrepressible Alison Seidel. Good crowd here in Italy. Roughly about 15,000 for the men's and women's race. The women's race starting now, 10:30 in the morning, 73 starters. The World Cup leader, Alison Seidel, wearing the blue Tissot leader's jersey, being chased hard by the usual suspects. All of these riders now training very hard for the World Championships, which will be in about 3 weeks' time. This course, 6.3 kilometers long, the women doing 5 laps, and it's a mixture of flat racing, as you're seeing at the moment at the start, roughly about a kilometer and a half. A very, very fast start here, first on the tarmac, then on the grass right next to the flowing river, and then it's up onto the steep ascents and descents. Very technical as well in the woods. Technical single track, leading out by Barbara Blatter, the winner at St. Wendel last week. What a brilliant win that was for her, her first ever World Cup win. She was so strong in that race. She was threatened by Pezzo and Fullana, but those riders both crashing, with Blatter going on to take the win just ahead of Alison Dunlap and Margherita Fullana. And already climbing very well indeed, Marga Fullana, with Pezzo on her tail, the Italian rider, the Olympic champion, determined to do well here in Sarentino. But Fullana, her bike handling has really come on strong, despite that crash at St. Wendel, and she's already got a gap over Paola Pezzo. Looking very fetching in yet another different skin suit. She manages to have a different one for all of the races she competes in, and followed very closely by Alison Seidel in 3rd spot at the moment. I think this is Ruthie Mathis coming through in 4th. It is the Trek VW rider with Barbara Blatter in 5th. And this is one of the very technical descents. Very hard indeed, as you can see by these riders crashing. But Marga Fullana, what a great race she had last week. She loves conditions where it's hot and it's steep. I'm very lucky actually, because the weather was actually quite bad before the race this morning, and turning out nice once again for her. The same thing happened at the World Championships in Ora last year in 1999, when she managed to take advantage of the hot weather to win in front of Alison Seidel, who's 2nd that day, and Pezzo in 3rd. And both of those riders in the top 3 at the moment, with Barbara Blatter on the back of Seidel's wheel. Pezzo looking round, she wants some help. She actually had a crash yesterday, the day before the race, and actually injured her thigh, so she's doing remarkably well to be in such a good position. But she usually does do well when she finishes a race. I mean, that sounds axiomatic, but she either does very well or she doesn't finish at all. But she's going to have to do very well to pull back this woman, Margherita Fullana. She will be a hot favourite for the World Championships in Spain, of course, her native country. And Barbara Blatter having difficulty on that turn there. She actually says that she hasn't got any great strength. She just loves riding a bike. Although I would say that her best asset is her descending, her technical descending. And already it looks like she's got ahead of Paola Pezzo. I don't know what's happened to Pezzo, but Blatter in second spot at the moment, chasing hard. Margherita Fullana with Alison Dunlap in third spot. And here's Pezzo going backwards. She was in second at that stage going up the climb, but I don't know whether that thigh injury is affecting her at the moment. But brilliant riding from Margherita Fullana and Barbara Blatter now. Considering Blatter's only really been on the World Cup circuit a couple of years, her technical ability is very, very good indeed. As indeed is Margherita Fullana's, as opposed to this woman, the French rider, Sandrine Guiranet. The young French rider having difficulty on the descent there, but not Margherita Fullana. Very well done there. Such a lithe rider. So light on the bike, and that's Chantal Decour going through there. Another Trek VW rider. And the British rider Caroline Alexander currently riding in 5th spot at the moment, doing very well indeed. She was disappointed with what happened to her at St Vendel, previously her best course, as we look at Corinne Dorland coming down here and having just a little bit of difficulty on the descent there. So hard for these riders. We come into Fullana now. With just one lap to go. Margherita Fullana, the Spanish rider, she'll be hoping to do so well at the World Championships in Spain in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. The specialised Subaru rider really has come on leaps and bounds. Already won one race so far this season at Houffalize, and Alison Seidel coming back to strength now. She double punctured in St Vendel last week and hoping to do well. She really did have an awful journey over to Europe and hasn't done as well as she usually would. Well, nowhere near as well as she usually would. She usually finishes in the top 3 in practically every race, as does this woman, Alison Dunlap, who has an amazing record, has never not finished a race she's entered on the World Cup circuit. Only once has she not started in 4 years of racing. And this looks like Caroline Alexander. What a great ride from her after that disappointment at St Vendel. She really is climbing well. She knows how to climb on her bike. Good stuff from Caroline Alexander. She'll be very happy with that ride, I am sure. If she can get into the top 5, I'm sure that will guarantee her a place at this year's Olympics. But I know that this ride from Margherita Fullana will guarantee her spot at the Olympics in the year 2000, as will Barbara Blatter's. In fact, Blatter has already qualified. And Margherita Fullana coming through for her 2nd win of the season, crosses herself as she usually does. Excellent riding from Marga Fullana. She didn't finish at Napa, she punctured there. She stops to pick up the bike now for her 2nd win of the season. Didn't start at Mazatlan. 2nd win, she's come 1st, 3rd and 1st in the last 3 races. What a record, 1:53.47. Fullana crosses the line. Blatter comes home in 2nd spot. A good ride from her with Seidel back to form in 3rd. She's had a tough time, but that's an excellent ride. With Alison Dunlap, the World Cup leader, in 4th spot, I'm sure she'll be very happy with that.
The Mountain Bike World Cup.
With the Volvo V70 cross-country all-wheel drive.
So a massive win for Marga Fullana. 5:15 ahead of Barbara Blatter in 2nd, with Seidel in 3rd, Alison Dunlap in 4th, and Caroline Alexander, her best ride of the season, in 5th spot. Excellent riding. Here's the winner, and this is Marga Fullana. She's saying that today the plan was to actually see how hard I could go, because I was angry after crashing in last week's race at St Vendel and having a bike stolen yesterday. Indeed, riding another bike today, but she said that today was a demonstration of anger. So I'm hoping to do well at the Worlds and the Olympics as well.
I did not feel really good this morning. My legs were still hard from last weekend. I tried to keep up in the uphills, but doubles here are really steep for my legs. So I just kept my speed during the race, so I feel kind of comfortable like that, and I finished 2nd place. That's pretty good, still pretty good for me.
So the World Cup leader overall, Alison Dunlap, a massive 185 points ahead of Barbara Blatter in second. Mary Grigson not here today because she was contracted, would you believe it, to ride Norbury events in America. Tough luck for Mary.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, to go home with the jersey for the next 2 races in Canada is really exciting for me. It was a hard race. I didn't feel that great. I think my legs were a little bit tired. You know, it's been a long trip here in Europe. So I'll go home, back to altitude, do some good training, and then come back for the World Championships.
So despite feeling tired, Alison Dunlap with a fabulous overall record at the moment. 3 seconds and 2/4 spots. She stays in the World Cup lead in the women's race. And we go straight into the men's race. 142 starters. All the main protagonists on the front with Thomas Hochstrasser, the Swiss, should I say, the Swiss Scott rider, number 6, leading out this pack of riders on this very, very fast flat section. Not like last week at St. Wendel as we go through the top 12 on the start line. Hamida Ramos there, Bart Brenjes, Thomas Frischnecht, Lado Fumic, the German rider, who was so disappointed with his non-ride last week at St. Wendel. He was actually doing very well before being taken out of the race by Gregory Volley, the French rider. But already Hochstrasser in the lead at the moment. Well, in the lead, I mean, he's leading the pack. There's no such thing as a lead at the moment, is there? My goodness. A huge peloton. And it is a peloton, isn't it? It's not often you get a peloton in mountain bike racing, but I don't know whether you've noticed actually this season, but so much now the racing is done in packs. You get groups of 3, 4, 5, 6. Even at St. Wendel, we had groups of 10, 12 riders. As these riders, Marco Bui at number 34, the full dynamics rider, the teammate of Miguel Martinez, having difficulty on that climb there. Already Dupuy, the World Cup leader, in the front with Miguel Martinez with him, and Lado Fumic there as well, as we see Hubert Paluba, the 3-time winner of Italian Cup races here in Sarantino, trying to go through, and Philip Meerhager having a dreadful start. I don't know what happened with him, but he's way back in the pack. But the blue and red leader's jersey of Christophe Dupuy leading at the moment, aptly enough, with Miguel Martinez on his tail. Lado Fumic, who, as I say, was so disappointed with that non-result at St. Wendel, his home race last week in Germany. He really is going very, very well now. He's going to have to go well to catch these 3 riders. Already broken away from the main group, or trying to break away from the main group, is Christophe Dupuy, Bui, Thomas Hochstrasser, Lado Fumic. And that's Bui there, just on the back there. Thomas Frischnecht there, the 17-time World Cup rider, World Cup winner. Always at the front of a race, usually. These descents have causing many, many problems. The guys doing 7 laps as opposed to the 5 of the women. There's Nick Craig, the British rider going through there, has had a very unfortunate season so far. Started out the season crashing in on a training camp in Spain. Didn't actually know where he was for about 3 days. But Dupuy and Bui, the teammate of Miguel Martinez, in first and second spot, with Miguel Martinez in third. Already setting out their stall. These 3 riders breaking away from the lead group, or that pack. Dupuy won at St. Wendel last week, and what a dominant win that was. He was always in the top 4. As we look at some of the lesser ranked riders coming through on this descent. But of course this year riding for Team Giant with his ex-teammate Miguel Martinez on his left. Martinez, such a great rider. My word, what a record. You look back at his palmarès, you look at his year in 1997. What a year. First in the World Cup, first in the Espoir Worlds, first in the European Espoirs, first in the Coupe de France, that's the National Points Series, first at the National Championships, 6th in the VTT, the Velo Tour Tehran, and 4th in the Cyclocross Worlds. What a result. But now being chased hard, Miguel Martinez and Dupuy and Bui being chased hard by none other than Rune Hojdal on the back of that group. That's a pack of about 8 riders chasing hard. And after 1 lap, 18 minutes, 16 seconds, these guys ride fast. My goodness. It's almost like a road race, isn't it? But Lado Fumic, as he did in Mazatlan, leading out the group with Thomas Frischnecht on his tail. Hochstrasser there as well. That looks like Rune Hojdal. Another Swiss rider didn't quite catch his number then. Fumic coming on leaps and bounds this year. It's actually coached by an ex-DDR, the East German coach called Thomas Schweder, who actually coaches Thomas Weizmann, the telecom road racer who's been doing so well in their classics this season. But these three riders already setting out their stall on this race, determined to get through, as we see Craigie going through again there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's Roland Green, the Canadian rider. But like his compatriot, Christophe Dupuy has had a marvellous record since he's come over from the road to mountain biking. Won the World Cup in 1996, second in 1997. He's had a couple of disappointing years the past few years, but especially last year, as we see Gregory Volley going through there, Thomas Hochstrasser, Rune Heidel, number 11. Heidel had a very steady race last week at St Wendel, finishing in 22nd spot. He was disappointed with that. As we see Dario Cioni going through. As I was saying, Rune Heidel disappointed with his ride at a steady ride, but had a fabulous result at Mazatlan, just pipped to the post by Martino Frue, the Italian Richie Yahoo rider. As we see Miguel Martinez going past Dupuy and having just a little chat there, like the old days, these riders. They tend to be so animated when they race together. And after a couple of laps, it's Dupuy, Martinez and M.Bui. They really have set out their stall. No wonder Full Dynamics is an Italian team. And of course, Marco Bui, the 1999 Espoir World Champion. They're being chased hard by Thomas Frischknecht, Lado Fumic, and I believe that is Thomas Hochstrasser. In fact, it's not. It was Christoph Sauser. I got it wrong there. Another Swiss rider, though. God, the Swiss riders are doing what the French did a few years ago. They're really coming on strong now. I think this year's World Championships and Olympics could be between the French, the Swiss, and perhaps one Belgian rider, Philippe Meerhager. He's not actually up there at the moment. I don't know what's happened to Philippe. Very disappointed with his race in St Wendel last week. Crashed out there. As the chase group working very, very hard to get back onto terms with those leading threesomes. And I have to mention Cadel Evans, who I'm hearing is going like a train, starting in 63rd spot, as we see one of the Polo RLX riders coming out of the race with a slightly buckled wheel. Really is very, very difficult for these riders. But yeah, as I was saying, Cadel Evans coming through so strong from a 63rd start position. The Volvo Canadair rider started the season off with a broken collarbone, the winner of the World Cup for the previous 2 seasons. He knows now he's not going to win this year's World Cup, but I'm sure he's got other fish to fry in the sense that he wants to win the Olympics. And indeed, oh my goodness, the World Championships, as we see Dominic Arnaud, teammate of Rune Heidel, the giant rider, coming out of the race with yet another mechanical problem. He flatted last week at St Wendel and came back up to 16th spot there. He was actually in the lead 6 or 7 when he flatted in St Wendel and goes out of a race again for the 2nd week running. As we look at Martinez, Dupuy and M.Bui, they look pretty comfortable, don't they? Martinez outpowered by Dupuy last week at St Wendel. He actually got away on the 4th lap, and Dupuy caught him on the descent and then just blitzed away from him on the climb. As we see more back markers coming down these technical descents, very difficult. We're taking a very short break.
The Mountain Bike World Cup.
With the Volvo V70 cross-country all-wheel drive.
Welcome back to Eurosport with me, Mark By-Siegel, for the 6th lap. We're on the 6th lap of the men's cross-country World Cup from Sarantino in northern Italy. And the Full Dynamics riders now, they are in a strong position with Marco Bui, the Espoirs World Champion from 1999, leading the group of 3 with Dupuy sandwiched in between with Miguel Martinez on his tail. I am sure those 2 Full Dynamics riders will try and work over Christophe Dupuy on this last lap. And they're being chased now by a group of, what is it, 6 riders, with Thomas Frischneck on the lead, in the lead there. Christoph Sauser there also. Rune Hojdal is there. Good riding from Rune. Back to form now. And it looks like Marco Bui has broken away from Martinez and Christophe Dupuy. And Martinez trying to counteract Dupuy, and they have indeed worked over the Frenchman. Dupuy not able to respond. There's his team manager Johan Lammertz on the left of your picture there, just gone out of the picture, and Dupuy not able to counter the attack of the Full Dynamics riders. And my word, you would not have guessed this. Dupuy was so strong at St. Wendel, but with 2 other riders against him, it looks like Miguel Martinez. It will be a showdown between Martinez now and Marco Bui, the 1999 Espoirs World Champion, against the silver medalist in the Senior Worlds, and of course the 2-time Espoirs World Champion as well. But Dupuy looks very tired indeed on the longest climb of the course. My word, the overall World Cup leader looks very, very tired indeed, but it looks like he's got third spot sewn up. I'm getting my tongue tied there. Sewn up at the moment, and it looks also like Miguel Martinez has just got a gap on Marco Bui, his teammate. Good riding from Martinez. Martinez was just that little bit under strength last week at St. Wendel, but not this week. Not this week in Sarantino. I am sure that this was one of the races that he would have targeted all season. He hasn't won a World Cup race so far, but it looks like he's going to do that unless Bui can counter. But I don't think the chunky Italian is going to get his first World Cup win here in Italy, but it's going to be a kind of Italian win with the Full Dynamics Frenchman, the Italian Full Dynamics rider. Nationality, of course, French, going on to that win, I am sure, unless something unforeseen is going to happen. But Dupuy, it looks like he's settled for third spot as we see Miguel Martinez on the last part of the course now, the flattest part of the course. The number 3 rider in the World Cup at the moment, Bas van Doren, the number 2 rider, not around. Miguel Martinez telling the cameraman to get out of the way. He wants to see if anything's behind him. He doesn't like it, does he? But I was actually saying that Bas van Doren not up there so far this week. He actually looked tired when he was out practicing, but you can't perform at the top level all of the time. It was very, very difficult. But Martinez coming through, I am sure now, for his 8th World Cup win. He's won 7 World Cup races before. Didn't win a World Cup race in 1998. He won last year in Napa Valley. And he's going to win a race here in Italy, in Sarentino. The first time the World Cup has been into Italy since 1995, the finals in Rome. And Miguel Martinez wins for an Italian team. What a great ride from the little Frenchman, with an equally good ride in second spot from Marco Bui. He is very happy. I'm sure that will guarantee his Olympic selection as well. And it's Dupuy, a very, very tired third. My word. He looks exhausted, doesn't he? Goodness me. The giant rider, very happy with that, I am sure. And it looks like Christoph Sauser coming through for a brilliant full spot, just ahead of compatriot Thomas Frischneck. He's coming across the line for his 4th top 10 position. And a great ride from Carsten Bresser, the German rider, in 6th spot. Excellent from Bresser. That will guarantee his Olympic qualification. But Miguel Martinez, the winner here in Sarentino. What a fabulous race from the little Frenchman, with Marco Bui, his teammate, in 2nd spot, and Christophe Dupuy in 3rd. Christoph Sauser in 4th, Frischneck in 5th, Bresser in 6th. What a tough race. Whew. Here's Miguel Martinez, the winner. Miguel says, I think that it was a very tough race here in Italy. Bui attacked on the final lap after the first climb, and we both realised that Dupuy wasn't strong today. I then caught Bui and attacked at once and went hard to the finish. And this is Marco Bui saying that the most important thing today was for us to start an attack. He said, I worked with Miguel for the whole of the race, but he was stronger than me, and I went as fast as I could, but it just wasn't enough. On the first climb, he said that he saw that Dupuy was tired and Miguel was looking strong. So he attacked, they had a little attack, and then it was a two-man race with Christophe Dupuy coming in third spot, guaranteeing him the lead as we go into a short break in the cross-country series in the World Cup. Dupuy leading by just 11 points over French compatriot Miguel Martinez, with Bas van Doren in third spot. He goes down to third. Frischneck going up to fourth. Good place for Thomas. With good riding from Christophe Dupuy. He'd be very happy with that. Here he is talking about his race today. The enigmatic, calm Frenchman said that really the World Cup wasn't my objective at the start of the season. It's tough, actually, but I made a good race at St. Wendel, but his goals for the season are the World Championships and the Olympics, and preparing for those Olympics. But again, he's talking about the World Championships and saying that he's trying to do a good race most of the time. But Christophe doing very, very well indeed here. Excellent riding from here. This is Mark by Siegel signing off.